And we're back. Finally. Are
We
Black
back.
men continuing to be emasculated in our society? Also, has parenting evolved beyond the point of spankings? We'll be discussing these topics and more tonight on Jump Off Live. I'm so excited to be back. I'm like fumbling over my words. I haven't been on screen in a long time, so I'm excited to be back. Welcome, everyone. It's yours truly, Jeff A. Smith, jumping off once again on Jump Off Live. Joined here by fellow members of Team Jump Off. We have JD and Johnny Dangerous in the place to be. What's good, fellas?
Not much. Ready to go, man. Ready to go. I'm so happy that we're back. So
Yes.
happy that we creating a bunch of content for everybody too. So let's do it.
Back and better than ever. As you're watching the show, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Also, you can check us out on Zingo TV channels 249 and 250. If you're on the go, you can also find us on your favorite podcast streaming app. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get right to it. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way, so far too. Brandy, James, and JR. Thank you for rocking with us as always.
Hit that like button. I know y'all did it already though.
Smash it. Ping. And JD, what you got for us, man? What we jumping off with?
I'll say that we can start jumping off tonight with a very interesting topic that I don't know if we discussed this in the past before. Do you guys know if we discussed this before?
Maybe on the original show, the original Jump Off, but nothing new.
Easily probably over a decade ago at this point.
Yeah,
but
check the archives.
Yeah, but
or don't or not.
Wanted to discuss Russell Westbrook. Amazing basketball player, now the Los Angeles Lakers. Yet another Black man who has been either asked or decided to wear a dress and or a skirt. And if this is an issue or not. I see a lot of people talking about it. I see people everywhere, like Facebook. I saw a long, over 500 messages on 500 tweets on a thread that I was reading where people were discussing this. And is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Should Black men continue to be put out there in this light where they're wearing dresses? But yeah, if you can look at the screen right now, and I'll scroll it a little bit so you can get a full view of Russell Westbrook's ensemble that he put on that day. And you can see the skirt and the shoe boots that he's rocking.
Shoe boots?
Yeah, shoe boots. I think in and of itself, and this was at the Tom Brown 2022 spring showing a few weeks back. I think in and of itself, it's not something that would be overly concerning, I don't think. But if you look at the history of it and you start paying attention to celebrity and famous Black men who have, donned a dress, I think there may be something to make of that. And why is this happening? Why do people feel like it's okay for this? Is it okay for this? I'm just putting these questions out there. Now, if we want to get into personal feelings, you will never catch me in a dress. That doesn't mean that I hate somebody who decides to wear a dress. No, it doesn't mean that. But you won't catch me in a dress. I feel as though it does something when you see a Black man in a dress and you're lowering that sort of that view of him, his masculinity. You're minimizing it. You're lowering it by putting him, a strong Black man, in a dress. And I feel like that image that you see right there says way more than whatever fashion sense that Russell has, whatever cause he's deciding to rock. I think that it says a whole lot more than it's just another Black man in a dress. And as we talk, I'm going to go through another article that lays out there fully different Black men who have put on a dress, and for movies, for TV, and why this continues to happen. So I really want to pose this question to everybody in the chat. So don't just sit there.
Engage.
Engage, yes, be a part of this. I'm also going to post the link to the actual show. So if you want to be on the show, we can put you on the show tonight.
Yeah, if you want to hop right on, you can
if you want to come
be
on
on
with us
camera
and speak your piece.
Yeah.
And jump off with Team Jump Off.
Yeah.
You can do it tonight. I'm gonna post that link in a few minutes.
Yep.
But if you want to do it, you better start talking in the chat right now, so I can post them on the screen.
Chance, folks. This is
you can come in and be on camera, or you can be audio only. It's up to you. So
yeah. That's either or. I mean, I think it'd be easier for me to do it like on camera, but you can put your thumb over your camera if you don't want to be seen.
Yeah, you can turn up the camera.
If you got like stain or something on your dress that you don't want people to see.
right. But yeah, I'd love to know what you fellas think about this topic as well.
I have John go. I know John typically goes last. I want to have John go because I feel bad for him going last every time.
No, it's all good, man. I appreciate that. I'm looking at this picture, and I just got all these questions that come to mind. First of all, before we really dig into this, pause. You guys ever check to see if his background or his roots were Scottish or anything like that, or we just assume he's just
probably got some Scottish in him. I'm sure we all do, thanks to Massa. Let me get on that. So all of us got a little sprinkle of that Scottish in us, Irish.
Just a splash, right? I don't even think he's got shamrock bluish green hair. If I'm not mistaken.
He does.
Wow.
He ended up tying the blue hair into his tuxedo that he wore for the Met Gala the next night.
Wow.
Okay.
So here's my other question. When he sat down, I mean, how does he conduct himself in that dress? Like, I know you talked about the shoe boots and everything. That was clever, by the way. I like that, shoe boots. But like, when he sits down wearing that, does he conduct himself like as a man or like a lady would? Does he cross his legs? If he decides to get on a horse, does he straddle it from the side? I'm just wondering, like you really, as a man, as a straight man in his case is
he's married, full
right?
disclosure, kid, yeah,
he's married, right?
Yeah,
like how do you prep your mind? Like, first of all, when you go to the closet, if it's in the closet, like okay, you going, all right, tuxedo, suit, Steve Harvey collection, my custom suits, Gucci. Oh, you know what? I know what I'm gonna rock tonight. I'm gonna kill him with the all white dress and the football jockey blazer that'll show my chest. I won't wear no t-shirt or no button up or anything on it. Like I'm just wondering, like, of course I don't have his level of financial wealth yet, but like I'm just wondering, like, what goes on psychologically for a straight man, and I emphasize a straight man, to say, you know what, I want to be different. How do I do that? I want to kill him tonight. What should I wear? Like, what goes on through a straight man's mind for him to decide to say, hey, I'm gonna wear this shirt, this sweater with that dress. It looks clean. It's clean. It's all white. It's clean. And so I just have those initial questions. But like you were saying before, JD, I know you're gonna roll out. I think about Dennis Rodman when he wore a dress. Like, I mean, I can't find the stairs to get to that point to where I'm making the decision to put that on and really feeling like, man, this is the outfit I want to rock, And so that's just the question that I have, and maybe y'all can help me with that throughout the show or right now, even if you have an answer for that, because I don't get it.
Yeah, I have something to add. Were you done, or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My thoughts as it relates to this, because I thought about this a lot, just seeing it over the years, especially in recent years. Like the cover of the Young Thug album, Jeffrey. Please pull that up if you can, JD. Young Thug's album is actually called Jeffrey, pun intended. Came out, I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Full dress in that one. So my thoughts are kind of diametrically opposed as it relates to this. I think that over the last, I know that obviously over the last 10 to, well, it's been going on for a while, but I think I would say in the Black community, maybe over the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years, just kind of spitballing. Um, the the fashion standards have definitely evolved um, a lot. And with the advent of these designers coming up with that cover, um, the where the limits of fashion have been pushed, the boundaries have been pushed like they have never been pushed before, or the mainstream of them have been pushed like they've never been pushed before. And these types of outfits, for better or for worse, are considered fashionable. And people who are like Russell Westbrook has always dressed pretty loud and pretty loud and kind of bombastic. So it wasn't really surprising for me to see him, rocking something like that. I think that a lot of times people just want to, especially from a straight male perspective, because that's the only perspective I can speak from. They want to stand out and do something totally different that's going to get talked about and go left when everybody else is going right, just for the sake of the look or whatever the case may be. And I do think a lot of times when they are wearing these items, they are doing it because it's trendy and it's for the sake of the look, and they're not cognizant or even thinking about the potential historical ramifications of wearing it. At the end of the day, of course, people should be able to wear what they want to wear. It's a free country. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be opinions elicited, based upon how you look, what you wear, etc. Um, but us as African Americans, we do have a level of PTSD as it relates to stuff like this because of how we've been portrayed in the public eye throughout history. So had we not, um, had things like blackface and other types of roles in movies that people have had to do and demean themselves in order to be popular or to get the bag. Had those things not happened, we wouldn't be having these conversations that we're having, asking, is this emasculation? Is this appropriate? Is this not appropriate? We've been just operating from such a deficit that when things like this do happen, it's hard for us to look at them through just a clear lens, saying, "Hey, maybe you just want to wear a dress." Some people wear dresses nowadays; it's trendy, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We have that historical and that backdrop and that context. And the question is, and I'm generating more questions than answers as I'm thinking about this. Do we need to look forward, and should it matter that what happened in the past happened? Do we need to just look forward and say, "Hey, this is what's hot right now. We go do it," and it's not and it's just for the moment. There's nothing historical behind it. I'm still masculine no matter what. Or do we need to still hold on to how we've been treated and what's been done to us and how we've been portrayed in the past, and use that to make more informed decisions about how we dress moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this picture right here, Flip Wilson going back to the 1970s,
Mhm.
these types of things happening. And I think for the rest of the audience who may not be as versed in this sort of topic of emasculation, it's the idea that by putting a black man in a dress, you're making him look lesser than, making him look weaker. It's a psychological effect to show everyone that being in this dress is degrading, that it is making you more feminine, and minimizing the strength, the power of being a male. And that by doing this and portraying this often in comedy settings, because you're not going to see, most of the time, you're not going to see a black dude just walking around in a dress just for the hell of it. It's going to be in a comedy. And by it being in a comedy, not only are you saying that this black man, who is a strong black man, is wearing a dress, not only is he wearing a dress, but he's also being goofy. He's also doing things to make himself look funny and to entertain. Just like, when you go back and you think about blackface, like you said, Jeff, sambo routines. There's always these things that are put out there to make black men look less threatening, I believe. And by putting on that dress, not only does it make you look completely non-threatening, it also can, I shouldn't say that it does make, it can make other people look at it like, maybe he is weak. Maybe I can try him. Maybe it is okay to say this, that, and the other and degrade that person. And yeah, you know, it might be jumping to extremes like this, but we talked about it on another episode that debuts later this week or next week, that the things that the media and the entertainment put out there are important. These images are important. The reasoning behind these things are important. And it is because I believe personally that, you know, not to degrade anybody else, but I feel that there is a movement, and has always been a movement, to keep the black man down. And you know, like, you, oh, here you go,
My brother.
talking about keeping a black man down. Like, no, it's not like that at all. But to ignore slavery, to ignore the things that black men have been put through throughout our entire existence in this country, I believe there has been a mass media effort, a mass entertainment effort to minimize the black man, to make us look as though we are weak and inferior. And that is because people don't want us to realize our true nature, our true strength. And that if you keep allowing us to be out here in dresses and being held down, those younger people who are more susceptible to these images will look at them and say, yeah, you know what, man, maybe I should be down. Maybe I shouldn't feel the strength and the power that I have. And like I said, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just telling, and I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from things that I've learned just by watching the news myself, by watching entertainment myself, by listening to, like, on this article that's on the screen right now, includes a video. And if you go to YouTube, just search Dave Chappelle and the dresses. Dave Chappelle, I believe, was on, maybe it was the Oprah show. And he spoke about why he would never wear a dress. And he had offers to do different movies. But people were almost intent, like the producers were desperate to put him in this dress, and he couldn't figure out why. And it was at that point that he realized that there is an effort to keep the black consciousness limited because of that. And he said there's no way that people could, you know, keep trying to do this if there wasn't a serious effort behind it. Because he said he was in his, he had told them, like, no, I'm not gonna do it, no, I'm not gonna do it, no, I'm not gonna do it. So he comes to do the movie, and they wanted him to do this scene, and he had refused multiple times. And he shows up, and in his trailer is the dress just sitting right there. And the executive producer comes in and pretty much begs him to wear it, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And he said that for it to be that big of a deal, there had to be people and money behind that, and a reasoning behind it that was far bigger than just, it's funny if you wear this dress. So yeah, I love seeing the people's comments right now. Like I said, if you want to be in on this conversation, the link is in the chat right now. Come be on the show. If you don't, you can just post in the regular chat. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is a very interesting topic, and when somebody else talks, I will continue to go through this pretty much who's who of black actors who have been put in dresses at this point.
Damn near. It seems like, I can't say everybody, but it's been quite a few as we sit here and we go through the different pictures of all these famous black men that have worn a dress. JD, you said a lot of really great things, man. It really got me over here thinking in depth, thinking deeper into this. For one thing, I wanted to say at the beginning of the show, the conversation, folks, you have the right to wear whatever you want to wear,
Most definitely.
man or woman.
Yes.
You can wear, or whatever you identify as. You can wear whatever you want to wear. This is a free country overall, even though you have to pay the price for everything. Remember, even though we're in a free country,
Freedom ain't free.
freedom ain't free. You got to pay the price some way, somehow. And so we just want to put that out there as the jump off. And I'm sure the fellas agree with me as well. You have the freedom to rock whatever you want to rock. With that being said, I sit here and I think about some of the things you guys just mentioned. Particularly, we talk about the history of black men, blackface, wearing dresses. And then also what came to mind, I started thinking about Martin Luther King. I started thinking about Malcolm X. You know, people who I consider prophets in their rights, prophets during their times, people who made such a huge statement, and in the simplest form, they were black men. Nobody could take that away from them. They were black men. No matter what you thought, no matter what your beliefs were, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King were black men, and they represented and carried themselves well, even in their imperfections. Um, what happens when the black man is viewed as who he truly is?
You get
Yeah.
silenced.
And people get scared.
The black man, when he's seen for who he is, and he represents that to the fullest, like you gentlemen just said, he is silenced. And in America, silence means killed. There are a lot of strong black men that are living today that have done some incredible, courageous things in their time, in their lifetime. I can name black man after black man. But when was the last time we have seen a Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X? I think about that. Not comparing uh, Westbrook to him, to them, but it's been years, decades since we've had somebody. We've got individuals that are standing up for black people, for black rights, that are doing some incredible, amazing things, black men and women. But it's been years since we've seen somebody like a Shaka Zulu, uh, a Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, because they get silenced. Their life, their livelihood becomes at stake when you really show who you are, your strength, your power, your masculinity, your efforts to uplift the people. People fear black men. And I'm not talking about everybody. It's a lot of people that support black men, and we need that support. We aren't who we are unless we have that support. But the demasculation of black men is something serious, and it's strategic. It's strategic. And not only, you know, and I'm not judging Westbrook for this. He wants to wear a dress, he can wear a dress. But these type of images are so influential, not to people like myself, Jeff, JD, not to people like us, but to these kids, these youngsters who are really trying to figure themselves out, who are trying to live life and grow and find out what kind of person that they want to be. And so if they repetitively see pictures like this, uh, and get thrown so much, from the music, from movies, from images on TV, if they're constantly being fed things like this, it's a constant effort to demasculate the black man. And we have to be aware of that. And that's why it's our responsibility to continue to educate the children. I know I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna pass it back to you guys. But what you gentlemen said really got me to thinking much deeper into this. And it's just something, I'm reading the chats. You guys have a lot of great things to say. Would you put on clothes Westbrook had on? What was the last part? Had on behind closed doors for money. JD, you mentioned earlier, you said you wouldn't catch you in a dress like that. I wanted to ask you, just because we wouldn't catch you doesn't mean that you
Yeah, just because you ain't catching it don't mean I'm not gonna rock it behind closed doors. No. I mean, like we said, this is in no way to be
talk down on me.
exclusive. We're not trying to, I feel like we are agents of information.
Mm-hmm.
We provide information to the masses. How you disseminate that information is up to you. But there has been an effort, a constant effort to degrade the black man on screen since things and images have been on the screen. So if that is the case, why is that? Why is that? Why is it okay? And why is there an agenda to make black men seem lesser?
Man.
Where does that come from?
Well,
What is the reasoning behind that? And to me, that the only reason, and I'll say this real quick, then you can jump in, Jeff. The only reason that you would want to emasculate somebody, to put somebody down, is because you view them, their ideas and their strength as a threat. If they weren't a threat and can be just thrown over to the side and not matter, you wouldn't care. You would not care. But it's like me being 300 pounds and walking by and seeing an ant. Do I need to step on that ant? No, I don't care about that ant because that ant can't do anything to me. But if you bring something else that's bigger and I view it as a threat, what am I going to try to do? Move it out the way or tear it down and kill it. So these things, even though they might only seem like wearing a dress, means so much more than just wearing a dress. And I think that there are differences. Like if you identify as being a woman, or if you feel feminine and would like to wear a dress for that reason, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. Like that's like somebody like Lil Nas X. I'm not coming at him because he's somebody who's bisexual and also has identified as liking men. So if you want to be feminine and you want to wear a dress for that reason, okay, I understand it. But why do you have these masculine men who don't identify as being gay, who don't identify as being bisexual, at least to our knowledge, and it hasn't been put out there? Why do you have them wearing dresses? What is that trying to do? What is that trying to say? That's a totally different scenario. And that's the scenario that I find concerning.
Yeah. Couple of things. Keep it 100. The emasculation of black men is rooted in white supremacy. And that's that on that. That's the root. That's the rationale. That's the reason behind that occurring in the first place. The white supremacy structure, in my opinion. And to answer a question that Tara had earlier. So those of you all know, most of you all, maybe all, I'm an actor as well too. And I've actually nowhere near the celebrity of any of these folks that were on that that picture that JD, though, that article JD was scrolling through. But even in my delving into acting over the last 5 years or so, I've been offered roles like that, paying roles to put a dress on. Like I think I've been offered, I think 2 or 3 times, and I've turned them down each time. It's not something that I feel comfortable doing. Period. And it's also not an image I want to portray on the screen as well too. There's some folks who are okay with it, but I'm not okay with it. And for me, it's because of the historical ramifications of what's happened in the past. Some people may say, "Oh, you can't get past that." I'm like, no, because I think it continues to feed that old agenda. So I'm big on making sure that I make decisions that allow me to sleep soundly at night, and making the decision to not dress like that would allow me to sleep soundly at night, no matter what type of dollar amount you put on it. I cannot, and I say this, I'm saying this live on the air, and I've said this to my wife and family and stuff like that. I cannot sacrifice my own personal morals for money, because I may be in a mansion somewhere, but if I can't sleep in that mansion and I have these internal demons that I'm struggling with, then none of it is worth it at all. So that's kind of where I stand as far as my own personal experiences I've had in my acting career. There's there's a variety of characters out there that I can play, and I choose to not do this. It's basically I don't want to wear a dress, and I'm not really good at singing, so I probably don't really want to sing. But other than that, I'm pretty much, I'm cool with. I play a serial killer, you know what I'm saying, stalker, all that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I just think that people just have to realize that there's an historical context behind it. We can't just, as black men, we can't just be like, oh, this is what's hot, let's just throw it on, blah blah blah, because there is people seeing this, and there's something behind this. Whether you were a part of it or not, there's something behind this. So we just have to just be cognizant and be mindful of that, and be mindful of the images that we're putting out there.
Word
Right.
up.
Nothing is as innocent as just what you see on the surface.
Yeah.
Everything is much deeper than that. And I don't want to alienate any of our audience or anything like that, but this is information that I think people need to know about, whether you're black, white, brown, whatever in between. These are things that you should know about. And I feel like there aren't enough voices on YouTube in our areas, out in the entertainment world, wherever you want to consider it. There aren't enough people talking about things like this and topics that come up like this, and not just the fact that Russell Westbrook is wearing a dress, but the deeper level of conversation that goes behind that. So that's why you're watching the Jump Off right now, because you get these types of conversations, and these are types of things that we enjoy talking about because nobody else is really talking about them. Algorithm be darned.
No doubt, man. No
Yeah.
doubt. Looking at him. Let's look at this from a different angle. All right. First of all, the chat is great. I saw a lot of questions, a lot of comments in there. Somebody asked me to answer. JR, I believe, asked me to answer what's a good age, or what do you believe is good age for a male to make the decision to wear a dress? Man, that's a tough one, but really for any kind of decision, when we talk about wearing a dress, sex change, all those different things, it's a very controversial subject. There was a topic, or it's still being discussed. Dwayne Wade's son,
Yes.
him wanting to, have a sex change and everything. Oh man, everybody's in an uproar about it. The best way I can answer that question is this: for one, to each his own. Every household is different. Everybody's different. The way you do things is the way you do things. But I believe, as far as a child coming into maturity, adulthood, if you will, when it comes to a decision that's going to ultimately change your life, I think that child should actually be an adult before they make that decision, or an adult, their parent or guardian allows them to make that decision. That means that more than likely you're out of the house and you have the intellect and the wherewithal and the abilities to properly take care of yourself. If you're of sound mind and body, you should have those things going for you where you're taking care of yourself, because I think that's a big fact. That should be a big factor in you making intelligent decisions about your body and the path that your life is going to go. You should be in a position to where you can soundly take care of yourself before you make a decision on, that's going to ultimately change the course of your life. That's the best way I can answer that. Hopefully that answers your question, JR. Now, looking at this from a different perspective, I believe Brandy had brought this up earlier too. Westbrook might be wearing that dress. Is he wearing it for attention? Or is he wearing that dress as an initiation to something?
Got to LA, didn't he?
Is it some kind of initiation?
I'm going back to Cali.
If I gotta go, if coming back to Cali means I gotta put on that Cali, hey man, it's been one. But no, somebody also commented and sent me a message, said he's channeling his inner Mary Poppins.
I like that.
People, you gotta open your mind, man. He's trying to get his solid doodle on with that white dress and that white top, man. We over here looking at it from one angle, but no, seriously, is that some kind of initiation into some other kind of power? I haven't gotten to that level yet, but I see it happening with a lot of men in the industry. Do you guys think it's quite possible that it's some type of initiation, or is it just for attention? Because he's getting the attention. Look at his face. It's almost like he's saying, "Yeah, I got him."
Yeah, and the dress is like it's blowing in the wind.
It's blowing. I don't know if that's from his flatulence or if it was a gust of wind or whatever. What is he wearing under that though? I see a little bit of gray down by his ankle. Is he wearing boxer briefs?
I'm not trying to find out.
Pants? I'm just wondering what's going on.
I would just say think that folks, whether they want their responsibility or not, when you're in the public eye like that, specifically, you just have to be cognizant of the historical context of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that should change his mind or anything like that, but just he has to be aware of that. Like, because, doing that there's some baggage. You know what I'm saying? There's some historical context that comes with that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, like if a if a white person does this and they've been in movies, wearing dresses and stuff like that, Tom Hanks, Dustin Hoffman, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Robin
Robin
Williams,
Williams.
God
Yeah,
bless him.
Robin Williams. Yeah, so those conversations are had. They take the dress off and they back in their regular everyday life because there wasn't a system in place to break them down and force them to be portrayed in a different light. They can code switch or dress switch, whatever you want to call it, and go back and forth and not have that issue. And I wish we had that. I wish we were like that. I wish we could, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish this is a funny thing. I wish that if a straight black man wanted to wear a dress, he could do so without it being all this negative backlash and historical context behind it. Because that would mean that we live in an equal society. But that is not the case.
Hey,
Plain and simple.
Jeff, man, you bring up a valid point. Let me ask you this. My man Veen Raines played Holiday Heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went from that to being Melvin and Baby Boy. That's a hell of a transition right there.
Yeah, it is.
And I ain't hear nobody talk about, how he played that Holiday Heart. And then probably a lot of cats in the community probably didn't even see it anyway. But
Yeah.
I remember him playing that role going from that to Melvin and Baby Boy. And that was a huge transition. And it's kind of hard. Well, obviously he's a great actor, you know what I'm saying, to be able to play those two different roles. But, you see him, you think nothing but, man, that's a man right there. He's a man. But he did play that role. He did play that role. Does it scare you guys at all? Or does it, you guys are fans of Simpsons, right? And Boondocks, right? You guys watch that, right? Man.
Not consistently, but I have, yeah.
Okay. Is it trippy how a lot of what we see in cartoons and on TV actually comes to light?
Oh yeah, especially they predict so much. The Simpsons, especially the Simpsons, with like Trump being president and all kind of stuff. Like, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I think somebody, one of the writers on the show, sort of threw out that idea that the Simpsons writers know something else, and they said that just because it's only because they've been on TV so long that they throw out so many different things that eventually some of them are going to come true.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's
point.
some of it, but it is interesting that those types of things do end up happening at certain points in time. And that's a totally completely different subject. But I think we should bring up these two comments that James made in the chat. First one was that but where does the negative backlash come from? And then he says that Denzel wearing a dress never changed the way I looked at him or Jamie Foxx. If I could address that real quick, I don't think that. And see, I know James personally, one of my best friends on this planet, man. And I know that the way James views people is without a lens of color. And he just looks at a person as being a person. I don't think that everybody is as fortunate to have the same viewpoints that you have, James. Yeah, you can look at a person and say that wearing that dress doesn't matter. I can look at him and at Russell right now and say wearing that dress doesn't matter. But why did you do it? Like, did you do it just for fashion, or was there something else behind it? And I think that other people, what you have to understand, and this goes to a broader point. As a black man, I'm a representative of my entire race. Every time I go out anywhere, I'm a representative of my entire race. And I think that white people, whenever they go out anywhere, they're representative of their entire race. What you have to realize is that each individual person has a ton, and I mean a ton of power and the way that people's lives are shaped, the way stereotypes are shaped, the way people are portrayed, and the way people are thought of. When I interact with people, sometimes I can't be the person that I would want to necessarily be. I have to be, and we talked about this on our previous show, like coming across as a non-threatening black man. Like I've had people like I have my moments. I'll say that, and I can turn it up when I need to turn it up. But in general, like I'm a nice dude. I'm smooth. I'm easygoing. I like to make fun of myself. I like to joke around, and I don't view myself as being threatening at all. But being at the job where I'm at now, I've had people talk to me, on a few occasions, and then as they get to know me, inevitably it comes up, and they say like, "Man, you know what? Like I see you walking around here, and I was scared to approach you. You had a scowl on your face, or you're 6'3", 300-pound dude. Like, it makes me nervous. But then I got to know you, and I realized that you're a good dude." What you have to understand is that every time somebody sees me, there is a judgment made immediately. So what I have to do is realize that I'm a representative. I'm a representative for my race at all times. So if I go out there and I come across as being rude or disrespectful or tough to work with or intimidating, I'm just proving a point that some people have already made. I'm proving a stereotype that somebody has already had. So I have to go out there and I have to constantly have that in the back of my head. I have to constantly think, how am I being viewed right now? If I just came out here like, I don't have a good day every day. And if I go out onto my floor at work and, I got an attitude or something, and it's somebody's first time meeting me and they don't know me, they could be like, "Man, I knew it. I knew he was going to be like that." Or, "Man, I don't want to talk to him. I ain't going to mess with him." Even I could be the nicest dude that you'd ever meet. But the way that some people view me without knowing me, you would never know that. And so I say all that to say that when you have a person wearing a dress, when you have a person out here portraying the culture in a negative light, you have to realize that people are going to judge an entire race of people off of that. Just like I know too many people, and you think that it's fake, like you think that it's not real, but I know a ton of people who all they know about black people is what they see on TV.
Yeah.
That's it. There are so many people like that. You think that like I live in a world like, oh man, no, people know, like, it's 2021. No, there are a lot of people who the only thing they know about us is basketball, football, and rap music. That's it. That's it. And how do those images look? You got football players out there that are these big hulking brutes and just knocking people over and playing an aggressive sport. You got black dudes out there that, playing basketball that, they might not be as hulking, but a lot of times people were like, I even saw people talking about how basketball uniforms have gotten skimpier and skimpier and how the shorts are getting shorter and shorter over time. And then you got rap music, where you have a litany of people who are fake thugs and gangsters when they aren't really that.
Yeah, that gets into hyper masculinity.
Right. And then on the other side of the
opposite,
coin, you have the complete opposite when you got somebody like Lil Nas X, who's out here taking pictures and doing commercials and videos looking like he's pregnant. So where you find the quote unquote normal, the middle ground, that middle ground is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You're either the hyper thug or the feminine black dude.
True.
So I've been talking too long. I've been talking way too long.
No, that's a great response to what James said. As a point of clarification. As a point of clarification, James, not to my knowledge, Denzel never wore a dress on screen, but Jamie Foxx did, just as a point of clarification with that.
And I rock with both of them, but you have to understand what that image is saying. It can be a little deeper. Yeah,
it just cuts a little deeper with us. Yeah.
And it's
look who's here.
As we finish up.
Welcome, sir.
In his virtual office.
What's going on, people?
Not much. That
It's not
dude
virtual.
named
That's
Dave.
real. That's real.
Yeah,
You
my
look-
bad. His real office.
That dude looked like he in the classroom. He just got done schooling people and send them on their way. Be gone. You may now exit.
That's hilarious.
Hey,
That's
and real
hilarious.
quick,
I love
like
the
you
background.
you see this comment made by Santos, another one of my good friends, man. Like, and
Wow.
I believe him when he says, I was scared when I first met you.
Yeah.
Because you see the exterior, that's all that you know, and those things have been drilled into your head that, man, you know, this dude, maybe I should be a little bit nervous about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I have to fight that battle every day to prove that that's not the case. So I think that when you have people who are celebrities, they should realize that responsibility even more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think we can.
for even being transparent like that, for him to, you know, post that comment up there. That's real right there. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. I do want to lighten up a little bit. I think we can transition now, especially since Dave is on. We'll transition. You know, we got some fresh, get some fresh air on the show. So I believe we do have an ad, or is it what is it that we have this week, Johnny Dangerous?
So I know we have a lot of new viewers recently started jumping off with us. Just to give you guys a quick rundown of what we do here on the Jump Off Live. Besides what we just presented, what we just talked about, we also believe in giving people opportunities. We have ads, original classic ads that are presented by the Jump Off Live, and we have a multitude of different individuals who have partnershiped with us here at the Jump Off Live and have done very well in their businesses. And so just to give you guys a little background about this gentleman is a successful entrepreneur, and he has multiple different services that he provides. And so tonight, without further ado, we want to go ahead and give this young man an opportunity to present his newest and his latest, greatest ad here live on the Jump Off Live. Listen in, folks.
Listen to what I'm fixing to tell you. Waste not, won't not. All over the world, especially in these United States of America, on a daily basis, millions.
Uh-oh.
He got censored.
Sound stopped.
Dinners just ghosted like a one-night stand. Imagine that. Darn shame if you ask me, yo-ho. Down here and over yonder, we wholeheartedly believe in not allowing such delicatessens to go to waste. Introducing the hottest, newest, and bestest restaurant chain across America, Leftovers. Leftovers specializes in gathering and re-prepping tossed out meals made by wholesome American families. That's right, folks. Have you ever found yourself staring at a hot dish on TV, mouth just a salivating, wishing you could taste the morsel of that dish? We here at the maker of Leftovers realize there's an epidemic of literal, substantial proportions sweeping across America. Too many meals are half-eaten and being mistreated, yo-ho. Look here. We send our iron chefs door to door who are rigorously trained to personally perform what we like to call the triple P test, where they pick up, pick out, and prepare your food before you pig out. That is, was that 3 or 4 P's? I might be off a tad bit. I got held back a few times in grade school. Anyway, our chefs then scurry on back to our kitchens where our state-of-the-art reheat methods are applied to make most of the meals taste even better than whoever originally made it. We put our feet all up in it. Amazing, don't you think? Don't sleep on our do-over specials, where we take your leftovers and completely do them over again. So folks, come on over and get yourself a plate or two of some delicious leftovers. Just keep in mind, if the food sucks and upsets your tummy, well, hell, we ain't the ones who made it. It's just leftovers. Jump on!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's center mass. Center mass. Yeah.
Spell that, please.
Center with a S. SENTER. Mass. All one word. MASS.
Center? SEN, like center with the C, but with the S?
Correct.
Center mass.
Center mass is his name. Yep. And
Man, I love all the people who bring us, you know, revenue through the advertisements that we have on here every week, man. Like it's amazing to me. And you know, Center Mass is just another in a long line of amazing sponsors that we have on this show.
So you're not willing to wear. So you're not willing to wear a dress for money, but you will accept money from.
Don't hate on this concept. Don't hate on this concept. Leftovers. I mean, it's a brilliant concept to me. It's brilliant.
The concept is very unique, but eating someone else's leftovers is wild. Eating the next man's leftovers.
They sanitize them. You heat anything hot enough, you can eat it.
yeah, I mean they have iron chefs that prepare that food, man. They have their reheating methods. If you heard them, they reheat it to where you don't have to worry about germs or catching something or COVID or any of that. Yeah.
That's another question I had. Opening up a leftovers restaurant during the pandemic probably isn't the smartest idea. If you know what I'm saying.
It takes balls to do that.
It does. It really does. Yeah. But
sometimes you gotta, you know, you got this idea, you gotta run with it. You gotta run with it. And Center did that, man, with an S.
He did. Center Mass also wanted me to let everybody know that if you come down to the restaurant to make you feel at home, you can bring your own plate. They have a swap a plate program where you give
random spoons. Sorry.
Wait a minute.
You bring a plate, you get a plate. That's how this works.
You bring your own dinner plate, and they put the food on there to make you feel at home when you sit down.
Oh,
wait a minute. Okay. It's BYOP?
Yep. And they don't care if you're wearing a dress and you're a straight man or not.
Wait a minute. Does it matter if you bring like paper plates from like the dollar store, like Dollar Tree? You get like a whole bunch of them, and you like get a discount if you serve the whole restaurant. Like, yo, I got a whole batch. Got to get a discount, you know, so you ain't got to wash dishes. Does that work?
Man, I think that's a great idea. If you if we present that to them, I'm sure anything to save a buck, especially in these times, Center Mass would probably be down for it. You'd be on target with that one, Dave.
You got the right by saving the buck because Dollar Tree on raising their prices now. They're going to $1.25 to $5 now. So you know.
Are they really?
Oh yeah.
They have certain ones that have certain sections where they're going to be certain products will be higher. Yeah.
Premium.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, and also some Dollar Tree is going to start serving groceries like you know, vegetables and shit like that, you know. So
the Dollar Tree out by my way has like a whole frozen food section. Like you can go in there and get a steak for $1.
Yeah, they get steak. Yeah. They get the fine meats, cut meats.
You got to add water to the steak. It come out and start off looking like beef jerky.
Yeah, I don't know what cut that is.
You telling me they're selling dollar steaks by your way in Iowa, JD?
They got them out here too. At the Dollar Tree. I've seen the two or three different Dollar Trees around here have them too, Dave. If you look in
not by in Joliet or something.
I've seen in Joliet and I've seen in Lombard too. And Lombard is, you know, in Naperville, I've seen it too. So yeah.
Wow. He made him leave the office, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to go get it or if he just discussed it. I don't know.
Made him leave the office.
Yeah, it is what it is, though. But
wow.
Yeah, times are changing, folks. Dollar Tree has come up a lot during the pandemic, because obviously folks have fallen on hard times, so they got a lot more leverage in the market, so they can finagle and finesse these types of things. So
no, finagle. You know, I think Dollar Tree evolved because of what was going on with Quarantine Superstore. That's what I think.
I'm just gonna nah.
Probably not.
Hey JD, hearing a dollar steaks and everything you guys are saying, I'm an elitist, and after I took my nephew to the Dollar Tree a few weeks ago, I refuse to go back to another Dollar Tree or whatever, dollar bills, dollar stores, dollar Bammies, dollar
family.
Kids love Dollar Tree, man. What you
talking
about?
They
love Dollar Tree. You take them in there, and it's Christmas for them.
Hey, I took my nephew there, right? He wanted to get peep game. He wanted to get just a couple of bars of candy. We were there for 50 minutes because only one person to check out. There's one person who's bagging. There's one person in the back who's doing it's all the like 2.0 to the negative power. If that
you
makes
gotta
sense.
deal. Hey man, you gotta deal with that if you want the prices for the low. You gotta deal with certain things. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, I'm gonna come out and hey guys, I'm gonna be an elitist. Fuck down the tree. I'm gonna pay the $5. All right, it ain't worth it. Life can't be that hard. Is it really that hard, fellas? Let me know.
For some people, yes.
Hey,
for some people,
I need to know because man, that $1.25 out there is rough.
Hey man, that same clerk that check you out, if you buying oil for your car there, he will go outside and put that oil in your car.
It wasn't a he, it was a she where I'm at. It's a she. I felt sorry for that little 19-year-old girl.
Hey man, don't feel sorry for her. She's gainfully employed.
She is making $1 at a time.
I swear I thought she wanted to walk out that store right then and there. I was like,
Oh my goodness. We'll go ahead and transition to our next story here. Oh man. All right. You might want to go ahead and pull up that. You have article,
Yak
JD?
meat.
Yeah, Yak Meat. Lil Nas X but curse. That's a hell of a name.
Yak Meat. Oh Lord have mercy.
Haven't heard the word yak in a while.
I don't think Taco Bell uses $1 steak, to be honest with you.
No, probably not.
Nah, that's quarter steak. Real.
All right, you got the other article, JD. I want you to pull up that the picture of that belt that's in the article.
Yep, hold on. You can go ahead and start talking about it. I'll get it up.
All right, so
Pootie.
Great article from actually blackdoctor.org. Really great site. You guys should check that out. Whoopings in the 21st century: tough love or poor parenting? The good book says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Whoopings, spankings, or however you grew up, defining discipline is often seen as a rites of passage in the Black community. Some people feel like a good old whooping made them the responsible, mature adults they are now. But is spanking your child really the way to go in 2021 and beyond? A study conducted by the University of Texas at Austin and the University of Michigan found that children who were spanked are more likely to exhibit antisocial behavior, experience mental health issues, and show aggression. But if you ask a lot of Black people, a whooping gets the point across like no other time off, like no other time out or grounding can. And they talked about a specific study that was done some years ago, where a study that indicated that violent elementary school boys that came from fatherless families or families where fathers do not demonstrate adequate affection to their boys and who utilize spanking as a form of corporal punishment tend to become more violent. They say that there are several measures that can be used before reprimanding your child via spanking. Love is a weapon that should be incorporated to redirect and establish a healthy relationship between the parent and the child. So I thought this was a very, very interesting article, and it obviously made me think about myself as a parent and how I parented my daughter, and how spankings and whoopings have evolved over the generations. From what I've seen just with myself and peers of mine, I don't hear about or see as much spanking or whippings as I heard about or saw about as I was receiving them back in the day. So I'll start off by being transparent with you know what? I'll say my comments for last. JD, what do you think about parenting and how it's evolved over the years as it relates to discipline and whooping?
I think that it's, first off, this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart because being fully transparent, me and my girlfriend Katie recently started fostering 2 young girls. And by young I mean 3 and 1, almost 2 and 4. And needless to say, their background and their history was not the best, hence the reason why they ended up in foster care and in our care. There were issues where the thought of spanking or whooping comes across your head and you're like, should that work? To me, I don't think that that's an option. I don't. I grew up in a household where my father did not spank me, but I got hit. My dad would do this thing. My dad, now, you know, I'm a big dude, but my dad was even bigger. So my dad was about 6'5", 320, 330. And what he would do is he would take the knuckle of his hand. And, you know, I wasn't 6'3" back then. So what he would do is take that knuckle and the top of my head, not even real hard, but he would just take that knuckle and just hit the top of my head. And it was like the tears would just instantly well up in my eyes, man. Like, it wasn't even that it hurt.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was something about just the top of my head that just made the tears just come out. So I grew up in a household.
Hit you at that pressure point.
Yeah, right, right. I grew up in that type of household. And that, now, I was a good kid though. Like that happened to me less than a handful of times. I can think of the time when my great grandmother, I had done something when I was little, and she made me go get a switch. Now it's something mentally to tell a child to go get the thing that's gonna inflict pain on you. So getting a switch is going to get a little tree branch and end up getting a beating with the tree branch. So yeah, I don't know why they called it a switch, but it was called a switch. So I got hit with a switch a few times. Nothing that left marks or anything like that. But I think as time has went on, I've realized that that shouldn't be an option. You should be able to get your point across in different ways. What I've learned recently is that you need to be with my first daughter, I never had to do that. I never had to threaten her. I never had to yell at her. I never had to raise my voice to her, or I haven't had to raise my voice to her or anything like that. But with these girls, I had to do that one time to get a point across. And it wasn't like something where, you know, I'm trying to be scary man or anything like that. But it was a serious situation. And due to the trauma that they've had in their past, there were some things that they felt were okay, or at least one of them felt was okay, that was not okay. And it was serious. So it had to be known that, hey, this is serious. This is something you can't do. So I raised my voice. And I think that you can find other ways of doing things outside of using a belt, using your hand, and inflicting physical damage on a child, especially a child who has had trauma in the past. There's no reason to create that level of trauma with the child. And I know that that is a very sort of modern way of thinking about it. I know a lot of Black people who have, you know, and still do spank their kids, and they swear by it. And just because I was a product of that, that thought comes across my mind, but I don't want to go that route, and I won't go that route.
Well said. What say you, that dude?
Depends on the situation. I wasn't spanked that much. I just my older brother was the worst. I saw all the crap. I saw the crap that he did, and I was like, I ain't taking them ass whooping. So I saw what he did and did the opposite. I only had two whoopings in my life, both of my moms, you know, and that was because of something that was going on during a religious service, and I didn't even do it. She was just pissed off at my brother, and I had got the collateral damage on one of those whoopings. So yeah, you know how that goes. So I watched my brother do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So my pops didn't really have to put no hands on me. But the thing with my pops though was that he put the fear in God in me. He didn't have to. His tone of voice was what did it, you know. And plus, I seen him whip a man's ass before. So if you seen your pops whip a man's ass before, you ain't trying to get that work. I mean, my pops was 5'8", about $160 in his peak, and I saw him take down a dude 6'1", about 240, and he told him keep going, and he gave this dude a forearm, and it was a wrap. So when it comes to spankings, I didn't want that work from pops, from first and center. So as I become a father now, I you know, I've had to, you know, my daughter had to, you know, get a hand a few times. You know, we got this little thing called Woody, you know, so little wooden stick, and it's like, oh, you keep acting up, you gonna get this Woody. She's like, no, don't want Woody. I can probably count on my hand. Yeah, you know how 4-year-olds talk, you know, so I can count on how many hands I probably have to use Woody. It's just the threat of Woody that scares the crap out of her, you know, because, you know, you be a father, you see a little girl, you know, that melts your heart. You're like, oh man, I ain't trying to put no hands on her. I don't believe in spanking that form of, you know, corporal punishment because of, you know, little kids and learning in that developmental stage. But every once in a while, gotta do what you gotta do. Now, I'm not saying get the belt out, like you said, Jay, to get that switch. That's that old school talk. I heard my mom talking about conversations about getting the switches down in, in Mississippi and ish like that. So luckily enough, I ain't had to see that. But I have seen my mom get the extension cord on my brother. Extension cords. What else we think about they did to him? We get some iron cords. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and get an iron hanger. Oh yeah, that was worked out too. So he needed that work though. I just got to be honest about it. You could say it was child abuse, but he needed it. And I think
oh my God. You can say it was child abuse, but he needed it.
Yeah, he kept doing dumb stuff. Sometimes kids do dumb stuff and they need to get their ass whooped. Like I'd be like 10 years old. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get in trouble. And he'd be like, keep doing it. Like, why are you still in the damn car? He checked the mileage on the damn car, so he deserved the ass whooping for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you can't roll back 5 miles, nigga. But for me personally, it all depends on the situation. I think that as I'm understanding this fatherhood type of thing, as far as like punishment, things of that nature, I realize that my tone and my look has a lot more, than actually putting the hands on. So it all depends on the situation, but every once in a while, gotta pull Woody out.
Makes sense. Johnny Dangerous, I thought your screen was frozen for a second there, but you're blinking, so I think you're there. What are your thoughts?
I was having flashbacks.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on, man. You just looking out into the distance, out yonder.
Yeah, no, man. Dave was talking about all the different weapons.
Oh yeah,
that was used, and man, bro.
Hey, John, did you have a drawer? Did anybody have, before I cut you off, did anybody have a drawer where that their parents would go for their weapon of choice?
My parents used the house.
Yeah, I mean, they had the house. They had the house, but they also had a drawer. Like, that's like the safe where you go ahead and you like, you got to go ahead and pull, some people got to get the 9 or the gat, it's a special place. Man. Did anybody have a special place of equipment that their parents use to go for that work?
The special place.
Besides the house, like they can get anything, but if they had time, they can just go walk to the drawer and like,
to the
which
drawer
one do I want to use?
the whooping drawer.
Dude, I think I would have respected a whooping drawer versus the arm's reach rule. Whatever they could find within arm's reach, I caught it. Man, I got it. I can remember. James, what's up, James?
What's up, everybody?
Man, good to have you on, man. Good to see you, especially during my flashback. I need to see a friendly face.
How y'all doing?
What's up, everybody?
Hey, James, make sure you mute your screen.
Yeah, turn off YouTube in the background.
How y'all doing? What's up, everybody?
Hey, James, make sure you mute your screen.
I love it. There we go. Beautiful.
There you go.
Yeah, James, I thought I was really in the twilight. I thought you were Jesus for a second, James. I was seeing my life flash before my eyes, and all of a sudden you appeared and then you disappeared. Oh, God.
Oh, now you left again. Oh, man. Maybe he is.
Man, what? Hey, man. They said it was going to be a second coming. Is he coming back? Hey, man, I had flashbacks, man.
Oh, he took Dave out, too.
Took Dave out.
Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
God.
What were you saying? What were you saying, though, John? Where was your flashbacks coming from?
Oh, man, I'm not even gonna go into detail, but I could tell y'all this. I probably remember more times that I wasn't whooped than what I was. You know what I'm saying? I swear I call it the dark ages. It was a time frame in my life where I felt like they was getting medieval on me every day. 365. My father's watching right now. He be watching the show. Both of them be watching. They know they used to whoop my butt every day. Every day it seemed, boy. A respect was big in my household. If I sucked my teeth, if I looked like I had an attitude, if I took too long to breathe after I got a lash, then I was gonna get another lash. You know what I'm saying? I got whooped, y'all. I got whooped. But I can say this, that it has had a big part to do with the man that I am today. You know what I'm saying? So not all kids need whoopings. Some would say you shouldn't whoop kids at all. But man, I didn't go to jail. I ain't end up on drugs. I joined the military. I served my country proudly. I take care of my family. So them whoopings amounted to something, but you couldn't tell me that then, boy, when I was going through it. Man, talk about hell on earth, boy. Man, I got whooped with everything. First thing come to your mind. Jeff, what's first thing come to your mind? First item come to your mind.
Extension cord.
Got whooped with that. No cap. AD, first thing come to your mind. Airplane. Got whooped with an airplane.
Airplane.
James, what come to your mind? Pool stick.
That
You like
switch.
playing pool? I got whooped
That
with a pool.
switch. I got that switch a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then they make you go get your switch, James.
Yup. They made me go do it.
Come, man, hey, James, you forget about me, man. Tell us about your experiences, bro.
What do you mean, like getting beat? Yeah.
Dang, he said beat.
We just gonna dive right into it, James.
Yeah. My parents didn't play. I was the oldest and I was the example, so they beat me. Like they made an example out of me for my other two, and it was like you did something, and you were like, you'd be thinking later on, like, man, should I really be doing this? Nah, I'm not trying to die today. So I would pass on. I got in trouble quite a bit and learned from it. And then I decided I'm not ever doing that again. I'm not ever having a near death experience off of it.
So James, you can say your beatings actually served a good purpose then.
Oh yeah.
They were preventative measures, right?
Yeah, it was worth it. It was definitely something I learned from.
Wow. Yeah, so I think that it's important to have a healthy fear of your parents. Like, I don't think that you should be afraid of your parents, but you should fear them. You should fear the repercussions that come from disappointing them, disobeying them, and whatever other diss you can think of. You should have that for your parents. And I don't think you necessarily have to lay hands on or be physical in order to get that point across, but you need to have that level of fear there. There has to be something, whether it's fear. I think as you're when the kid is little, like, you can kind of get them to do things via fear. And as they get older, you want them to do things because you want them to feel like they're disappointing you. And if you've been a good parent, your kid, when they messes up, they will feel that level of, man, I disappointed my parent and I don't want to do that. And I know that there were many times when I was older that I felt that way. And that was something that meant a lot, that I didn't want to disappoint them, and I didn't want to make them, I didn't want to make them feel like I let them down. And I think that meant more than getting, hit on at 16 or something like that. And that single-handedly kept me in line most of the time. There was still situations that I did a whole bunch of knuckleheaded stuff. And I can't say that I wasn't, that at the age of 16, I didn't get knocked around a few times too. And that, that's humbling. That's a humbling experience when, but then at the end of that, though, I wasn't crying anymore. But it's like, dang, man, they had to lay hands on me like I was 6 again. What am I doing with my life right now?
Yeah, that can be
getting handled. Oh no.
That can be humbling. I was gonna say, when I was growing up, I'm with JD. I can count, on my hands how many times I got spanked or whooped or whatever the case may be. I think for me, I just learned very early that I didn't like the way that felt. I don't want to reproduce that feeling again. So I did what I had to do, so I would not get spanked. So it didn't really happen that often with me. Fortunately, it didn't, and I was still able to turn out to be a pretty well mannered guy, if I do say so myself. And then with my daughter, I started off with spanking her hand, stuff like that, when she was kind of like terrible twos and stuff like that. But I quickly learned early on with her. We've always had really great dialogue. So having these conversations with her, I was actually able to get through to her much easier than I thought I would, just by having conversations with her, and also that whole building that the whole disappointment. So my daughter recognized when she's disappointed me from a very early age, and she didn't want to do that. So that combated it too. And I didn't have to even think about, spanking her as much or anything like that in order to get her in line because of the whole disappointment factor. So I was fortunate in that regard. And then I would also make sure that if I was getting to a point where I wanted to spank her, I wanted to try a few other things first before I got to that point. I think a lot of times, sometimes the mistakes that parents make is that's the first instinct is to spank first, and then that's it, just get it out the way. But I think there's some other things you can do, some steps you can take beforehand, before getting to that point. But of course, every parent is different, every situation is different. We've obviously have discussed a few spanking success stories on the show with James and John specifically. So there's definitely some good that can come out of it from a disciplinary standpoint. However, I do think that, and I've seen this too, there's a lot of times when it borders on abuse, or it is abuse, and parents they can't control themselves, so they are actually doing more harm than good as it relates to disciplining their children. So that's something you have to be worried about and concerned about as well too, and cognizant of. Because when we hit somebody and we're angry, whether it's our kid or whatever, when you hit somebody and you're mad, like, you're not in your right frame of mind when you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know some parents get carried away with that, and that can lead to a lot of negative repercussions. So yeah, I would just say, I think that parents, I'm not, by no means am I a parental coach, but I think that different levels of discipline should also be considered, as opposed to just whooping first. Maybe one other thing, then go to the whooping, or two other things, then go to the spanking. You know what I'm saying? So just to, instead of cutting straight to it.
And I wish y'all
Well,
could have
one
talked
thing-
to my daddy.
Nowadays,
one thing I wanted to
go ahead,
follow up
James.
on with that, if y'all is when you hit somebody in anger, a kid in anger,
Mhm.
and I have 3 boys, and believe me, they test every last nerve I got.
I bet.
But if you hit them in anger, then you're teaching them that that's okay to do. And that's one of the
Yes.
things that I've kind of kept in mind is like, and I
Mhm.
don't really spank my kids. I mean, I've had to give them a little swat to get their attention and be like, hey, knock that off.
Mhm.
But it's not like a full out, let me get the belt, it's time to whoop you really hard. It's not that. It's a little swat, go to your room, and that's it. But again, like I said, when you hit in anger, you're teaching them it's okay to do that. And whether you're there for it or not, they're going to do that again later on. They're going to have that same experience with somebody else later on.
Mhm.
True,
That's very true.
Good point, James.
I
Yeah.
wonder nowadays, has there been a trend? Because the kids nowadays are growing up on screens, and it seems like, I know a lot of kids, they don't want the screen taken away from them. So I wonder, I don't have any stats or anything like that, but I wonder if threatening to take away the screen from the kid is works just as good as a whooping nowadays, because they do anything to be on that screen. It's like crack. So take that tablet away. It's like, oh man, okay, I do what you want me to do. Just don't give me a tablet back.
And if we're talking about parenting tactics real quick,
Yeah.
I think that it's important to realize that everything can be useful. Everything.
Mhm.
Like something that I'm using now is realizing that, spending time is something that's very important.
Mhm.
So, a lot of times when the girls are winding down at night, we'll watch, sort of like calming videos on YouTube. So it might be a little kitty video or something where they're singing like lullabies. It's usually for like 15 minutes before they go to bed. So usually they both end up sitting on my lap and we're watching that video. So one day, last week, the older girl had a rough day at school, and thinking of ways to discipline her without hitting. One of the things that we did was first off, she couldn't watch the video with us. So we were withholding the screen from her, and that's not something that we don't allow them to do a lot of TV time anyway. Like it's very limited. But we withheld that screen from her, and then the next day she went to school, and she had a better day, but it wasn't as good as it needed to be. So that day, she got to watch the video, but she couldn't sit on my lap while she watched the video. Where her sister sat on my lap, and we cuddled while we watched the video. So I'm thinking like, we'll see how this goes. So lo and behold, the next day, she has a great day at school. First thing out of her mouth, I get to watch the video sitting on your lap today. And I'm like, bingo. Anything can be useful. Anything can be a tactic. Anything could be something that you use as a way to motivate a child. Now, yes, this only works when they're little. Like, you can't be 16 and be like, you ain't sitting on daddy's lap today.
That's totally
Like,
different ramifications.
That's something different.
The optics.
That's different. That's
It mess around, be like, "F your lap, daddy."
Right. But yeah, I think
start calling JD Jeremy Trump.
Weak ass knees, daddy. I don't want to sit on your lap, no way.
But yeah, when they're young, you can use anything as a tactic and as a motivating factor for a kid, and you don't have to necessarily go all the way to the point where you need to hit them. I think, and I just like to, not saying that my way is going to work always, but I try to use those things in lieu of raising my hand or even raising my voice. So I did have to raise my voice once, like I said, but I want those times to be fewer and far between, because if you're yelling all the time, they'll drown it out and it won't mean anything. But when you do, if you use it, seldomly, when you do raise your voice, they'll know you're serious. So, yeah.
JD.
Yes, sir.
Man, yeah, all these different things you guys are saying, man, are great. I really wish somebody like y'all could have talked to my daddy. But I think about it because times are different now. Like,
it's changed a lot.
To take a tablet away from a kid, right?
Yeah, right.
Everybody got tablets. Like back when we was coming up, we ain't had none of that. YouTube, tablet, we ain't had none of that. So I'm sitting here thinking about what my daddy, instead of whooping me, what he would have threatened me with. And all I can think of is him saying, "You know what? You keep it up, I'm turning off the damn heat. You ain't gonna have no keep it up. I'm taking your covers away." Like, man, dude, like I would have had it bad either way.
Yeah.
There
are a little less things we were addicted to.
Dogs tonight, son. Chew on that air. How about that cold air? How that tastes?
Hey, real quick, since since James is still on, first off, we appreciate you for coming on real quick.
Yes, sir.
James. But second off, you're not a part of the show, so you got to go. But before you go, I want you to show everybody the size of your hands, and then they'll realize why your boys don't act up.
Hey, yo.
just put them on the screen, sir.
Here we go. Yeah.
I mean,
James got hands like my daddy.
Can you palm a basketball, James?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. He could palm multiple basketballs.
Yeah. Actually, I you know how they do the NFL combine?
Yeah.
My hands are like NFL lineman size, like top of the 99th percentile.
Yeah.
Measure corner.
That was the first thing. That was the first thing that I remembered about James when I met him. We worked together a long time ago and been friends ever since. But I went to shake his hand, and I don't have small hands. Like, I got pretty big hands myself, and I went to go shake his hand, and my hand disappeared. And I was like, who is this dude? Like, is this the
emasculated, didn't you?
Hey,
the white man doing everything he can to hold you down.
And then he gonna say he was just trying to give you a hand.
Yeah, no.
Hey, JD, I gotta ask, were you turned on by that? Someone bigger than you,
Dave.
He seemed to be then, but
don't go there, Dave.
No,
hey, you probably felt a little tingle, didn't you? It's like, oh, what's this?
He did.
No tingles.
Someone bigger than me.
My God.
Someone bigger than me.
No, we're not doing that on YouTube, okay?
No.
or Zingo, or any other platform.
I didn't say anything wrong.
Oh my God.
And just for reference, I'm like 5'8", and he's his size.
Oh,
And,
Jeremy.
wow.
So Jeremy, that's like a conundrum for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Like, this little 5'8" dude
You're like,
wandering up
wait,
on him.
I'm
And
not
he's all
giving
like,
up 6-7 inches, and your hand's bigger than me.
yeah,
It
it
didn't
throws
add
people
up.
off, yeah.
On that note, James, it's been great having you on.
Yep.
I'll see you later, sir.
All right, man. Take care. Good to be on, guys.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
He's got them Neanderthal hands, or
Neanderthal
James rocks with his hands when he's a kid. Guys, watch me make this rock turn into sand.
That is hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
James,
goodness.
I'm glad he was on, man. Bless you, James.
Yeah, we appreciate the chat tonight too. Please
Hey,
like
JD,
and subscribe.
Did you have thoughts of Ghost when you saw his hands, the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
Nah, with the pottery scene. Nah.
Yeah. Did you have
bro.
thoughts of that when you saw
Nah.
when you met? Okay,
Not at all, Dave.
I know you did, but you ain't got a cap. It's all good though.
Not at all. I'm this close to hitting remove on StreamYard, bro.
And I can add myself right back. You
Oh,
forget
yeah,
who's
he
the
got the
admin.
power too.
I know.
Forgot about that.
Dang it.
You forget who's the admin.
Oh, he's full rank. Oh man, I think we will go ahead and wrap it up for the night, fellas. I think we've exhausted our emasculation and spanking talk.
All
Spanking-
emasculated out.
Yeah, I wonder, can spanking lead to emasculation? But that's
Ooh.
another conversation for another day.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from anyone before we go ahead and get on up out of here?
At least for me personally, I just wanted to say, man, thank everybody for rocking with us. I know we've been gone for 2 weeks, but we are back and better than ever. We're gonna have shows dropping on Monday or this upcoming Friday, and also the following Monday, and then join us right back here on Wednesday every week. So we're gonna try to get with that schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so you can be blessed with the jump off in your life 3 days a week. But yeah, like we always say, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like and subscribe button, please. We need it. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get to the yams. Because it's all about the yams.
The yams.
And by yams, I mean monetized.
Right. Just make sure you clear that up.
Yeah.
That dude, Johnny Dangerous, any final words?
Oh man, I enjoyed tonight, man. I enjoyed tonight. Minus the part of the flashbacks that I had from looking at. You still got that belt up there, man.
Yeah, you can take the article down.
Man, take
JD,
it
you don't
down,
want-
please, man. I've been
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take it off.
some things over here, man. But man, it's been great. I appreciate everybody for tuning in as well, man. The chat was beautiful tonight. Shout out to James for jumping on. Next week, I hope we get some other folks that want to jump on and show their big hands or their small hands or their pretty dress or their toes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Jump on off with us. Get on and let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you all tonight as well, fellas. And so I look forward to next week, Wednesday, and those mini clips that we'll be showing coming up Friday and Monday. Be looking out for those folks. So make sure y'all like and subscribe once again.
Definitely. Any final words, that dude?
No.
Okay, cool. I I just want to say I miss the fans. I know I personally haven't been on the show in over a month. So I'm really happy to be back. Tonight's conversation was definitely great. So thank you all again. And we will see you next time. I'm not gonna say next week because we'll be dropping some stuff before next Wednesday. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
We'll see you live next week on Wednesday as always. But
Friday 8 p.m. Central Time, Monday 8 p.m. Central Time.
we dropping them at 8 p.m.
8
We doing 8 p.m. So keeping that consistent.
Always.
Okay.
Monday,
cool.
Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Jump off.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in yet again, and we'll holler at you next week. Peace and love.